Today we're talking about two new releases, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 and the shadow drop of Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Plus, we're recapping all of the crazy stories from the Nintendo Switch 2 launch day. And did we manage to get our hands on one ourselves? Stick around to find out. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my permanent party of Matts, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matthew Moulding.
Hey now.
We've got a lot of great stories, so let's just jump straight into those headlines of the week. All right, gentlemen, of course, the biggest story of the week, we've got several to talk about, but of course, the biggest one has got to be Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order day. It's been chaos so far out there, and basically I want to get all your opinions on it. First up, let's see, the article from Kotaku written by Ethan Gotch says Switch 2 pre-orders alive and pure chaos. Switch 2 pre-orders went live online at midnight last night Eastern, and were every bit the mess that some fans feared. Pages timing out, error messages that weren't real, and email cancellations being received just moments after it seemed like orders had gone through. There must be a better way to do these, but no one's figured it out just quite yet. Walmart, Target, and Best Buy each announced plans to begin selling the Switch 2 pre-orders at midnight on April 24th. Fans eagerly refreshed the landing pages for Nintendo's hotly anticipated console, including the $500 Mario Kart bundle, but things went immediately off the rails. Walmart shoved everyone into an invisible queue with the ominous and equally vague warning, quote, "This deal is almost gone. This item is likely to sell out, but you can stay in line and we'll let you know if any are available when it's your turn," end quote. No information about where exactly in line people were or how long or how they'd be notified was given. Also, then there was Best Buy. The Geek Squad didn't even put the Switch 2 pre-orders live at midnight as previously promised. The page simply said coming soon, and it actually went live much later. So everyone went to Target instead, which made it easy to add a Switch 2 pre-order to a shopping cart and appear to let them check out. And that's when the website started breaking, and it told fans to check for errors in their cart, but then didn't list any. Clicking the order button just refreshed the page, except that some people randomly started getting notifications that their pre-order had been secured, only for follow-up emails moments later telling them that it had been canceled. So, gentlemen, it sounds like chaos online. Is this any surprise to you? Did you try and get one at all?
No surprise to me, but that's just the name of the game with these pre-orders. I didn't try. I knew, we have some fellow, members of the pod here who got their hands on one. So
maybe
we'll
talk about that later.
Yeah, I just want to tease that one a little bit. So I didn't go out for it, but I'm just trying to think. It's 2025. It is time to figure out our pre-order system. It clearly isn't working online. I am gonna say this. This is the fix. You have Nintendo specific kiosks that go to main points in like the mall or different shopping centers, Targets, Walmarts. They have everything set up. You have to do it in person, in line. That way you eliminate scalpers. You eliminate that crazy, just like everyone's just confused what, number you are in line in the digital space. You just have no idea. I think that is the way to do it. I think in person, Nintendo literally has like an army of people go out. You get your pre-order that way. I think that just makes sense. But who knows? I mean, the chaos, no surprise. Like it kind of reminiscent of the PS5 days when you'd go in, you'd wait for Wario 64 to drop, the link, and then you would rush and hopefully get a PS5. So I just wasn't ready to throw my hat into that ring quite yet.
Moulding, what's your reaction?
Yeah, same here. I'm not crazy interested in updating my Switch library to the new one. I think the answer is gladiator games, and that anyone that wants to pre-order needs to fight someone else that wants to pre-order in some sort of arena. and then you fight to the death, and then the winner gets the pre-order for the Switch. That's my solution. I think that's really the only way to do it logically.
I second that. Forget everything I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in reality, though, I don't know. Back to the old days where you don't even pre-order and you just get in line and get one. That's maybe the best way to do it. Really, the people that really want one, you stand in that line 24 hours, you get your thing, and move on.
Yeah.
And I think pre-orders is just a way for them to get an influx of cash real quick, without having to actually give any product away.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's true. But unfortunately, no one seemed to really nail the online process very well. Even Nintendo themselves tried to invite people. Of course, we reported on that, and it was based on, of course, that they had to be a subscriber and they had to be a whale, essentially, and that sort of stuff. And even then, they didn't have enough consoles for everybody. So even Nintendo themselves can't figure it out. What was also interesting, I'm not going to read the full article, but I just want to get your guys' opinion on this one. This Zach Sweezen wrote an article from Kotaku as well and said Switch 2 pre-orders are popping up on eBay already. At 1:10 a.m. Eastern, just a bit over an hour after pre-orders went live at midnight Eastern, I was able to find 30 different eBay listings for Switch 2 pre-orders. Many of these are being sold upwards of $700 or more. Is this expected? Is this unfortunate? What are your thoughts?
Expected. I mean, every launch is going to be like this until they figure out something new. So, yeah, it's.
What do you think of
crazy.
the price 700 though?
If someone's willing to buy it, why? I mean, Scalpers, yes, it's shitty, but yeah, someone's willing to buy it for $700, then that is their problem. It's not my problem because I'm not involved in it. So
like 700's not like insanely skyrocketed.
It's insane. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not insanely skyrocketed.
No,
it is
like, I mean,
price.
it is insane. Right. I would never even consider handing $1 to a scalper. Seriously. Like, it's the worst thing ever.
Nope.
But at the same time, I was thinking maybe like 1,000. That I'm actually surprised it's 750.
Yeah. Agree.
But I don't know. Have you guys ever bought something from a scalper?
Not that I know of.
Worried. Yeah, I'm always worried that they're going to send me a box of rocks or something and then disappear or something like that. And,
or it's just always the box and you didn't read the fine print where it's like actual system not included.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. One other bummer that everyone found out today on the pre-order day was almost all physical third-party Nintendo Switch 2 games in Japan are game key cards, and it looks like it's a similar situation in the West. This is from IGN's Wesley Yinpool, and essentially he says, as reported by Gamatsu, the launch of the Switch 2 pre-orders in Japan revealed all physical third-party games so far except for CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 that are not Nintendo Switch 2 editions ship on game key cards. So, dude, that is a real thing.
This is literally the first time I'm hearing about this. That is like a legit deal breaker for me. That is like
why buy physical at that point? You know, like I don't understand.
Why not just make the console completely digital and save money on the console from even putting a disc reader or like a disc player on it, you know, like that to me. Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's insane to me. I just cannot believe after all of this. I mean, it was funny too, because I feel like online people are like, don't worry. It's going to be a small percentage of cards that are going to be this way. So now, okay, all third party is going to be, that is nuts.
As of right now.
As of right now.
Third parties might change, but we'll see.
But still, that doesn't like instill confidence in the future of it. Like I would think it would go more so that way. And like, okay, you get the first party games, you have the card, but like, I don't want just the first party games. I want all of it to be on the card. So, talk about a deal breaker for me. Crazy.
I would never buy a third party game on Switch anyway. So, I mean, I had to be honest, I have, because there are some third party games that only had come out on Switch, and then there were timed exclusives, and that was the only way I could play them. I think it's not Bravely Default, although that is one. It was Octopath Traveler. I think I could only play on the Switch, so I bought those third party digitally. But yeah, that, I mean, it's not a big deal to me, but I understand completely why someone would be upset about it, because it is just silly. Just buy it digitally then at that point. Like, yeah, man, they're just making these crazy moves. There's got to be a reason why they're doing it.
Money.
Cheap, maybe money. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. But then, yeah, why spend the money on putting physical out if it's not going to be on there?
My thing is like, look, why are you making everything digital and you're charging more? You asshole. You can't have both. You know, like,
give me that sweet cash.
I know, and I am, because I'm an effing idiot, but it just makes me angry because it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, I'm traveling or something, and if I'm on an airplane and I've got a digital game and it doesn't work, I'm going to be livid. And if this is what's going to happen, because I travel with my Switch more than anything else, so it means I'm out of Wi-Fi area, and now they're insisting that the internet is required to play these games. That, like, mobility and internet are not a good combination, and it has me really concerned.
No mobile console should be internet required, because you want to play it on, like, a friend of the pod, Chad, played his Switch on Kilimanjaro, I think. And you can't do that. I don't think you can do that with Switch 2 with these.
Right, so when Chad goes for Everest, sorry, buddy, you're not going to be able to play your Switch unless you are able to connect to the internet up there, which who knows?
Yeah. I think it was Kilimanjaro, Chad. I'm sorry if I got that mountain wrong.
I'm wondering if this is just kind of telling on how well the third-party games were selling on the Switch. Like, maybe they just weren't selling, and they're like, okay, well, I think people still want physical, but we'll just give them a little tiny key that has a tiny bit of data. We save, you know, $10 or what. I don't know. Like, how much money can they really be saving to, you know, have a key that doesn't have the game on it? I would think it would be pretty minuscule.
The key's got to be a megabyte. So these cards, they're probably selling these cards for much more, and then they're only putting 1 megabyte of data on there. And
I guess
enjoy, kids. Deuces.
True. It's just it's crazy. So yeah, maybe the third party games were just trashing, and that's just their solution to kind of, you know, still keeping them on the system, but just saving that little extra dollar, which is just like so Nintendo right now. It's so crazy.
It's a bummer, especially when you read this while you're waiting in line. So let me tell you, gentlemen, about my experience today, because I did it old school, analog, in person.
Well done.
I was like looking, I didn't want to do it online because, look, that's a rat race and all that sort of stuff, and the lottery. And I knew it was going to be a headache. So I was like, okay, you know, I had a really good time camping out way back in the day with my buddy Chad for the Wii, and it's just always been such a good memory. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it old school.
I'm gonna go it alone this time.
I know, right? Well, I did end up making some friends in line, though. So I looked around at the different GameStops in my area. I found one that was open at 11 instead of 12, because most of them were 12. And then I was like, okay, I'll go to the one at 11. And if I don't get one there, then I'll go to the one at 12. So I had this whole plan. And then I'm not going to go to the one in Culver City because it's kind of close to Westwood, and all the college kids from UCLA are going to be there. So I'm going to go south. And let's just say I went on an adventure and ended up on a very interesting neighborhood. But luckily there were lots of security guards there, and waited in line and ended up making a lot of friends. I got there probably like 30 minutes early. When I rolled up, the line was, you know, not too bad. They had a really good job of like posting on the door saying like, this is how many Switches we have. This is when we're going to be in the store, that sort of stuff.
So you knew when you got in line, you were in line enough that they had enough to cover you.
Or so I thought. So yeah, I know. So they're like, okay, we have this many Mario Kart bundles, we have this many like normal bundles or whatever, and I counted, and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely good. I'm one of these 55 or whatever. And so we start waiting, and I'm making friends with the people in line, and they're all like super nerdy like me, so they knew all of the stuff, and we were talking about what we wanted to get and accessories and this new the new SD Express cards. Did we want one? But 256 gigs comes on the machine, and what
nerds.
Like we were going through, we were dorking out. It was totally fun. And then finally the people show up and they start letting us in, but only 2 people in at a time. And this is when things got a little crazy, because as we started moving, the line moving in, they took forever, dude, in these stores or whatever. There's only 2 people working, and I don't know what they were trying to upsell, but it would take forever for these people to come out. And then as we get closer, people started saying, "Hey, okay, we're about next in." And then you would see this whole family get out of a car and come. And then the next person, like, "Hey, I'm about here." And then you would see this whole car
What?
of teenagers come and get in line. And so suddenly I'm like, "Oh shit." And I start doing the math again. And I'm like, I'm starting to get up there higher in the numbers. I'm getting a little bit sweaty. I've been sitting out there, and by this point, I'm not no shit. It is probably 12:30. So I had been texting you guys about being in line, but I had
Yeah.
been in line for 2 hours at that point, and I wasn't guaranteed a switch. And I didn't start texting you guys really till I was pretty sure. Because at that point I was probably around the 50s, but I was listening to people's conversations, trying to figure out if they were going to get one or not. And not everyone in the line was. Some people were just with their girlfriends or boyfriends or that sort of stuff, and some people were just bringing food in, that sort of stuff. But man, oh man, I got so lucky, because when I got in there, I got one of the last ones, and strangely enough, I got one of the Mario Kart bundle ones. So I'm
Oh, wow.
super
Nice.
pumped. Yes. And the GameStop stop employee told me that they were going to do a midnight launch, which is 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Yeah. And that's going to be on that Thursday night. So my plan is that I go and pick up my Switch on that Thursday night. And then Friday night, we do like a live stream, hang out. We can do the Mario Party upgrade. We can do the Mario Kart, because I'm
Did
going
you
to
get
have
the
it.
camera?
No, I didn't get a camera. It works with most of it. I
Oh,
mean, it
I'm
works with
out
this
then.
crappy
Out.
camera. It's going to work with this
Yeah.
camera.
I know.
Yeah. So besides, we'll have our live stream camera. But anyway, so the listeners here can hear it first. We're going to be doing a live stream on 6/6 of the brand new Switch 2 console with the brand new Mario Kart and the upgraded Super Mario Party Jamboree. As long as you guys are in.
Nice.
As long
That'll
as
be
you're in.
fun.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're there. No doubt about it.
Super pumped. Okay, before we move on though, I just wanted to get your opinion real quickly on a personal note. As I'm hanging out in line, I start reading the fine print on shit, because to be honest with you, other than texting you guys and playing mobile games, I literally had nothing to do. And then I looked at, and I was like, okay, how much am I going to get in credit for GameStop? And it said pretty decent, like for original console, $125. And I'm like, well, all right, that's not too shabby. Except if you read the fine print, it said this offer is only good until April 30th, which means I have to go trade in my Switch this weekend if I want that amount. Now, I wanted to talk to the resident expert here, Lord, as a previous employee. Do you think they're going to change their trade-in values? Is this sort of, do I have to go this weekend, or am I going to be effed over? What's going to happen?
Yeah, it'll go down if that's like the promo trade-in.
It is.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, I bet it goes down to like 90. That's what I would say. I would say you go in after, you're gonna get 90, and then so I would go in and get that deal. Otherwise,
So-
yeah, those promos, they go up and down at GameStop. You gotta, and definitely take a look at the website too, because there might be like additional games that are boosted in price as well. So if you have some games that you're ready to part with, double check those prices. They could be a little more than usual as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And then it's like, well, man, that kind of sucks, because now I'm going to be without a Switch. Not that I play it that much, but I'm going to be without a Switch for a month and some weeks or whatever, just
We'll be
because I wanted to.
And that's a long time.
That means no Mario Party, boys, until 6/6.
I also
return.
know in the Mario Party, the Mario Kart World Direct, there was a little fine print there at the end. We didn't mention it last week, that said this bundle only available until fall 2025. So if you don't get that bundle before, like, say, I don't know, September, October, somewhere around there, that bundle might just not exist anymore, and you're out of luck.
That is a really great call out.
It's crazy. Like, that is such a timed thing. I cannot believe that isn't going to last at least through the holidays then too. Like, not just through fall, or would that also encompass? No.
But
Where'd
you
that go?
think about it, like, why would they want it to last through falls? Because they're probably going to make more money if they sell it as an add-on rather than a pack-in. And they know that Christmas is a slam dunk for suckers. They're like,
Get
we're
that
going to sell out regardless.
Get that $80.
Yep.
True.
We're going to sell out
Dan,
regardless.
I'm telling you, what you should do is you should suck it up, get that bundle, save it, don't open it, sell it after they stop selling it, and and get your money and a little
get
something.
your $300 or $250 or whatever.
Oh, man, I know, because I met some scalpers in line and they're very nice people, but they were talking about all the ones that they were getting and how they were going to turn around and sell them and all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't be the only one doing it, to be honest with you. But
Well, I wouldn't feel as bad, because if at that point they're non-existent, you're selling a special product. You're not really scalping it so much.
Okay, I can do that, or we could,
or you could just play it and open it. And
and we could do a live stream, and it could be awesome.
Heck yeah.
Well, it definitely was a crazy launch. And speaking of crazy launches, Oblivion, we kind of knew it was coming, but it was real and it happened this week. Malding, you had this story.
We absolutely knew it was coming. We were on good authority that it was coming. So I'm going to grab this story from Wesley Yin Pool's doing some damage this week on the pod. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered launches big on Steam, and it's only going to get bigger. The Elder Scrolls Remastered launched big on Steam, where it enjoyed a peak concurrent player count of over 180,000 on release day. After Bethesda shadow dropped Oblivion on April 22nd, the game climbed to the top of Steam's global top-selling games list, which is sorted by revenue. It's ahead of the likes of Valve's own Counter-Strike 2, viral hit Schedule 1, which I think, Dan, you may have even played or you were going to play.
I'm loving it.
And Blizzard's Overwatch 2, which itself received a significant new update. Oblivion Remastered was also the fourth most played game on Steam, behind only Counter-Strike 2, PUBG, and Dota 2. This was April 23rd. It's currently the most played single-player RPG on Steam. This was again on April 23rd, ahead of the resurgent Baldur's Gate 3, and has a very positive user score rating. Steam stats do not tell the whole story, of course, and when it comes to Oblivion Remastered, there's much more to its success. As a Microsoft-owned game, Microsoft owns Bethesda parent company ZeniMax Media, Oblivion Remastered launched straight into Game Pass and Ultimate subscribers. And then there's the PlayStation 5 and standard Xbox Series X and S release to add in. So, while neither Microsoft nor Sony make numbers public, Oblivion Remastered's true peak concurrent player count on launch day will be much higher than 180,000. Everything from the leveling systems to character creation and combat animations to in-game menus have been improved. Meanwhile, there's lots of new dialogue, a proper third-person view, and new lip sync technology. So, boys, have you had a chance to play it yet? And if not, do you plan on it?
Oh man, it's got the Ashley Simpson lip sync technology. That's incredible.
It's wild. It is.
What does that mean? What does it look like?
It's possibly the best lip sync I've seen in a game in a long time. I mean, there are some games that are just incredible at it, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Just ooh, that lip sync is gorgeous. But this, as a game that what it used to look like and now what it looks like, the improvement is absolutely insane. It's the best Elder Scrolls game looks wise right now.
Okay. Wow. It looks really cool. And I'm so glad we were on the right side of calling it that it was going to come out. So that was awesome. Yeah. We were catching some flack on talk.
I cannot wait to get my hands on. I'm chomping at the bit to play this thing. I've just got something else that I'm working on right now. But Malding, I know you have played it, so why don't you tell us?
I've probably put 20 hours or so into it. It's from the moment you boot it up, the differences are just astounding. It is gorgeous. The details, the colors, the facial animations, the character creator itself. You can still make some crazy characters. I went for just a regular elf look. I'm playing the Morrowind elves, which at the moment I can't remember what they're called, but it really is absolutely stunning. I'm so impressed with what they had, and the fact that it was shadow dropped, which just makes me so happy. I love that. So I mean, technically it wasn't shadow dropped because we knew it was coming, but we weren't for sure on it. And when they did that reveal, and then at the end, the dude saying, "And guess what? You can play it today," was just, I love that stuff. It's just catnip for me. So between that being way well. Yeah, it was Matnip. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. It is 120 gigs. So it took me about 3 hours to download. So, Matt, with your S, be careful with that.
Be set on fire.
But it is part of the streaming system that Xbox has now, so you can just stream it, and you don't even have to do that download.
That's a good point.
It might not play as well. It might not look as good. They're still working on their technology. But play it. It is, you're looking at, if you hadn't played it, you're looking at a brand new Elder Scrolls game. You're going to get 400, 500 hours worth of gameplay in this thing. It's just really incredible what they did. And I'm so happy. But who might not be happy about it is a certain other game, Clair Obscur 33, which also released this week. And I think, I mentioned it last week, but man, if I was that team, I would be really upset about this, because they were doing a lot of pre-promotion for Clair Obscur, and the fact that they just had this other game come in and kind of maybe steal a little bit of thunder did
100%. I would say
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a little review breakdown on this, which came out Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I've spent about 12 hours with it between yesterday and today. But before I let you know my thoughts on it, here's what the critics are thinking. Currently, the game is rocking a 92 on Metacritic and 91 on OpenCritic. Tons of 9s and 10s from the top gaming outlets, so I just wanted to highlight a few of them. I think it's pronounced Castiel from Fextra Life gave it a perfect 10 out of 10, saying Clair Obscur Expedition 33 may very well win Game of the Year and may do so with a staff of under 50 people, proving that passion, dedication, talent, and a clear vision are far more important than a large marketing budget, scores and scores of writers and tech personnel, and a big brand to rely on. Michael Hyam of IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, not a 7, saying it's one thing to wear your influences on your sleeve, and it's another to wield those influences to create something that can confidently stand on its own merits. From the bold stylings within its magnificent turn-based combat to the melodramatic but genuine storytelling tropes it largely embraces, so much of Clair Obscur feels familiar yet refreshing. Its superb execution on those ideas puts its own stamp on them for one of the more somber but hopeful journeys I won't soon forget. But on the lower side of things, Justin Wagner at PC Gamer gives it a 7 out of 10 and says, I feel like I should be chomping at the bit for another adventure in this world, but the majority of my time was spent wrestling with its battle system, undermined by real-time additions that feel like solutions in search of a problem. My affection for everyone in Expedition 33 was drowned out by the exhaustion I felt keeping them alive. Even as short as the game is, I sighed a breath of relief when it was finally over. How do those reviews sit with the two of you? Do you think that they make any difference? And if you're going to check it out?
Yeah, this is a game I would check out 100%. I wanted to. I mean, they said they're like talking about the combat molding. What did you think of it? Is it just strictly turn-based, or what's it like?
I'm going to tell you right off. It is my favorite combat system I have ever played in a turn-based RPG like this.
That's big talk.
It's incredible. It is. It's and I've only played with 2 characters. Each character kind of has their own system of and what their like specials are. And I've only had 2 of them so far, and I was immediately engaged. There are some RPGs that I've played where when I get in a fight, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to fight again. And I have literally fallen asleep during some fights on these with these turn-based games. And this one, no, you have to be locked in. You find an enemy, you learn how they fight, what their timing is, and then you have to nail that timing to survive with the parries and the dodges. And I'm playing on I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty. I'm playing on the next one down. Oh no, I think I am playing on the hardest difficulty because there are only 3. So I'm playing on the hardest. And you have to nail that timing or else you get team wiped. And I absolutely adore it. It's incredible. I love it. And I'm going to be playing that now. And instead of Oblivion, because Oblivion can wait, I'm going to be playing this.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You're gonna love it. Yeah, it's for any RPG fan. You're gonna love it. And sorry to keep gushing about it, but the first 30 minutes is a lot of prologue and a lot of story. Tears. I had misty, teary eyes at the very beginning. I absolutely, what they've done is really, really incredible.
Yeah. So like, how did they pull this one off? Because it seems still kind of rando. It's just 50-person team, and they said it was just kind of like, is the story that good?
Yes, so far it is really good. The voice acting top notch. The main character, I thought the main character was my big crush, Ben Starr. It is actually not. Is my another good big crush. It's the guy that plays Daredevil. And his voice acting is really, really incredible. And I think not Jennifer Hale, the woman, I don't have it in front of me, but the woman from Baldur's Gate 3 who got a lot of praise for her. She's one of the main characters. The dynamic just between the first 2 that I've encountered is really, really great. The story, I am in this story. I want to play it right now. And I'm going to play it again as soon as we're done with recording this. I'm really in it. And if you love RPGs, you got to check this game out.
So then do you think that it actually has the strength to be a contender for Game of the Year? Because that's
I absolutely do.
Interesting. And do you think that it has the strength to overcome the shadow drop that Microsoft so rudely dropped right on the head?
Yeah, that one I don't know. The thing it does have going for it, at least in my estimation, is that it is a brand new game that I don't know what's going to happen. Whereas I've played Oblivion so much that I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just playing through it again to get achievements and see what they've done and play the new style and all that stuff, which is all great. But I'm not getting a new story. I am getting a new story with this, so that's where I do think Expedition 33 has that edge.
And so let me get this straight. Oblivion Remaster and Clair Obscur both dropped on Game Pass the same day or one day then the next day?
One day after. So Clair Obscur was Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time is when it launched, and Oblivion dropped on Tuesday. Dang. So it had a one day. Yeah, Game Pass is really cooking right now.
Game Pass is cooking. I don't know if that's like getting enough talk right now, because that is just an impressive lineup to get all those games. Crazy.
That's wild.
33 is so good that part of me wants to support the team so much that I might buy it in addition to playing it in Game Pass just to support them. I think it's not a premium game. I think it's $50 maybe. I don't think it's a full price thing, but it's absolutely gorgeous. What that team did is really good. Now, granted, I'm only in the first 10 hours, not even that. So maybe something happens and it really turns me off on it, but I can't imagine that happening.
I would say 10 hours is fair shake.
Yeah,
probably have a good grasp.
Well, definitely keep us posted on that, because I'm curious to see if it can stick the landing and if it stays in the talk of Game of the Year, or if it gets run over by Oblivion after time.
Yep.
Very curious. Another game.
So good drops. Malding's eating well. Nom, 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 nom.
Another anticipated game that could potentially get run over is Ghosts of Yōtei. Lord, you had this story.
Yeah. So the fall release calendar takes shape as Ghost of is it Yotei or Yotei?
No, I think you're probably right. Probably Yōtei.
Yotei.
Probably Birch. My bad.
No worries. Yotei rushes out ahead
Oh.
of Grand Theft Auto 6. This comes from Kotaku's Ethan Gatch. Open world samurai adventure Ghosts of Yotei is the latest blockbuster to stake out a release date in a fall calendar overshadowed by the impending arrival of Grand Theft Auto 6. The sequel to Ghosts of Tsushima will come to PlayStation 5 in October as we get more release dates for the second half of 2025. With Ghost of Yotei on the board, we have a much clearer sense of how the second half of the year is shaping up. Borderlands 4 is out September 23rd, as is Bungie's sci-fi extraction shooter Marathon. Supernatural semi-open world adventure Hell Is Us is also due out that month, while Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is currently TBD for some time in October after years of delays. Of course, there's still a GTA 6 sized black hole threatening to swallow everything inside its event horizon, slated only for fall 2025. We don't know exactly when the most anticipated game launch possibly ever is coming out, but it's safe to assume it won't be too close to Borderlands 4, which is published by the same parent company. Maybe it will hit in late October or early November. Whoa. So is Ghost of Yotei playing with fire with this launch date? It seems a little sketchy to me, like early October-ish. So what do we think? Are we satisfied with that? Do we think
I think they're safe. I'm
You think
guessing
they're safe?
GTA is going to be a November, or really GTA is going to be a 2026, because I think, look, it's been such a long time since we've gotten a trailer. We're expecting trailer 2 to be really meaty, but oh look, it's almost May. Like the year's halfway done and you're supposed to launch. We haven't heard a peep, which means they're still working on it. I'm thinking just scraping in at the very end of the year, or most likely a push until next year. And I think that's now I've convinced myself. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to drop trailer 2 probably in like 2 to 3 weeks, and they're going to say, boom, look at this great trailer, and it's going to be meaty and it's going to be really feature rich and we're going to be able to see everything, and then it's going to end with like February 12th, 2026 or something like that. That's how it's going to end. So everyone's going to be bummed that it's been pushed, but then they're going to be like, well, at least we got a trailer. So, that's how they're going to announce their delay. That's my guess.
And while I was kind of like paring that story down, I didn't say the solid release date for Ghost is October 2nd. I'm great at podcasting over here. And so, yes. So you don't think, I think you're right. I think we're got to get a trailer here shortly because like they were saying in that article, the launch calendar is starting to shape up. And I think it's going to force their hand to reveal when this thing is coming up. And I think it's got to be soon do you think in the trailer though, they're going to do release date in the trailer?
I think so. It's been so late that they've got to they're going to get at least a date or a month, maybe not an exact date.
They're going to get a season coming winter 2026.
They already said fall 2025. They're going to have to narrow it down on the next one, I say. Look, it's not the end of the world for a Ghost, because if it does for some weird reason happen to be October, which I totally don't think it will be, Ghost can be like, oh, we need to polish a little bit more. See you in January. You know what I mean? So you can just move.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they could easily push it.
All these games, though, need to come out before GTA, because GTA is going to suck all the oxygen out for 2 months. I think a minimum of 2 months, and they don't need to wait for Christmas. This is not a game where they're going to get like a big bump from Christmas, because it's going to be a national holiday.
For sure.
It will affect the economy, this game. People will not show up to work, the ones that have jobs, and to play this game.
Yeah, I absolutely. And Ghost is one of those sequels that's kind of, no shade, but getting a little bit of the Creed Shadows treatment with the rumblings that are going on. So I think they need to get in front of, I mean, even though Shadows did extremely well, they still need to get in front of the GTA and just kind of have it be its own thing. I don't know. And I think we've gone over this with, uh, Dan, where I mean, I got a lot of Ghost of Tsushima under the belt. So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm ready for a Ghost sequel quite yet. So that's my biggest thing. I mean,
That's a great point.
this is coming up fast. Like, I can't even
It is.
believe we're getting this Ghost sequel so quickly.
Two
So,
ghosts in the time of one GTA.
yeah,
Right.
seriously. So who knows?
Yep. We'll see what happens. Well, speaking of big companies and big games, Nintendo and Pokemon, they're definitely hunting.
Yeah.
Lord, you had the story.
This is man, I cannot believe this. So Nintendo requests a subpoena of Discord to track down user behind last year's Pokemon Terra leak. This is from IGN's Rebecca Valentine. According to court documents seen and reported by Polygon, Nintendo is requesting the courts order Discord to provide the name, address, phone number, and email address of a Discord user known as Game Freakout. Last October, Game Freakout is alleged to have posted content including copyright protected artwork, characters, source code, and other materials related to Pokemon to a Discord server called FreakLeak, after which they were distributed widely across the internet. The leaked materials included numerous unannounced projects as well as cut content and other background information and early builds of other Pokemon games. Notably, the leak unveiled Pokemon Champions, an upcoming battle focused Pokemon game. Prior to the game's official announcement in February, it also contained information about the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA that has since been proven correct, alongside yet to be proven information on the next generation of Pokemon, source code for various DS Pokemon titles, meeting summaries, and cut lore from Pokemon Legends Ecurus and other games. Nintendo has not yet filed suit against a hacker leaker in response, but given the subpoena, it seems likely Nintendo is trying to find the identity of the person responsible in hopes of doing so. Nintendo historically has been highly litigious about everything from
Yeah, for sure.
piracy to patent infringement. So the subpoena is granted. So if the subpoena is granted, it is perhaps only a matter of time. So imagine having Nintendo coming at you like this. Like, these people have to be, or one, group of people, they have to be freaking out, right? Like, this is an intense investigation. Or do you think these people just don't care? It just seems very nuts.
First, just like I know that there was a lot of detail in that
Yeah.
article, but to be
Yeah.
honest with you, this leak was huge.
It
This
was.
leak leaked multiple Pokemon games, and it was like it's really spoiled their plans. I think there could be some potential corporate damage, and the source code and all that sorts of like this was not small. This was
Yeah.
financially very large, and we all make fun of Nintendo for being so litigious all the time, but this one was legit a big bad deal. So I mean, normally I'm all for like leakers because that's half the shit we report on the show. But in this instance, when you are putting out full games and you're putting that can damage a company significantly.
Sure.
So
That's
I can
a great
understand this. Yes, they should be worried. This is going to be hugely financial for them.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Discord rolls over?
Yeah, I don't know. You answer first, and then I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think they kind of have to because it felt illegal. Like this is I'm not one to defend big corporations, but this was a big one, as Dan said. It's not always there's a lot of gray area. It's not so this one feels bigger than it should be. So yeah, maybe they should roll over on this.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm glad I don't have to make the decision.
Yeah, when big Nintendo's after you, it's like, holy smokes. I mean,
but then what does that say about the platform for Discord? Like, then you have to like be like, shit, I really can't, plot any coups or do anything because your speech on
Well,
there is
then
no
don't
longer
plot
protected.
don't plot coups, right? Like then it's your own fault for doing it.
Right. But just the idea that your content could be, turned over to authorities that are legal, at any point. It's like, man, I guess I'm just going to have to keep my nudes to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
well, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. I think one definitely is like the privacy aspect that like
Mhm.
in my opinion, I would expect Discord not to hand over the information just because from a privacy standpoint, that's just like I don't expect them to be able to do that. That's just kind of how it is. Like I want it to stay safe, but you're right, it is such a humongous deal. Like I'm not with it because you're right. I remember when this did happen. I feel like the article minimized how severe this thing was. This
For
thing was huge. And you're right. So Nintendo has a right to do this, but I still think Discord needs to stay quiet.
Yeah, it's tough.
Time will tell. We'll see what happens, and then we'll update the listeners.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, speaking of listeners, let's move on to the listener emails of the week. First up, we got an email from Elga04 who wrote in, just like you can, to goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com. If you want to suggest a topic, feel free to hit us up. She wrote in and she asked the question of, she wanted to know our recommendations for seemingly chill games that cause insane anxiety. I just thought that was an interesting question. So, Malding, why don't you start?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think my first one would be, I Jurassic World Evolution is super chill for the first like I don't know, 2 stages, and then all of a sudden a storm hits your zoo, your park, and your dinosaurs get out, and then things start compounding, and other dinosaurs get out, and then they start killing your visitors, and you have to it, and it can get very stressful very quickly. So I would definitely say that is a chill game that all of a sudden gives me a lot of anxiety. I love it. I think those games are super fun. I love sim games, but that's a sim game where your people can die. So I'll say that one.
My first pick, this was a no-brainer for me. It had to have been Stardew Valley because Stardew Valley, I'm in the same boat as Jurassic World Evolution. Starts off super chill. You're just like, I'll plant one little plant. Oh wait, now now your townsfolk are expecting gifts every single day. I better start watering my plants. I better like run and chop down these trees. Oh my gosh. And then you have like a million tasks stacked up, and you only have a certain little amount of energy to use every single day. And man, does that just tap into something inside you that you're just like flustered. That game, I start it every so often, then I'm just so worked up. I'm like, I just can't do this game. So
it's a full-time job.
It is. And it's like a stress inducer.
Yeah.
I get super like clenched when I just too much. I can't do it.
Yeah.
A good pick. That's fun. It's similar to my pick, Dredge, which I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play it, but it's a really cool like fishing game. And you're in this Lovecraftian weird village where everything feels a little bit off, and you have to make your living by going out, catching fish and coming back and selling them. Only when you go out there, you start catching like mutated, weird looking fish, and you hear a lot of unsettling noises, and you might get attacked by birds, and all that's like you can deal with. But then all of a sudden, nightfall comes, and you go blind, and you can't see anything, and you have to get back, or you're going to be murdered. And it's just, I don't know, all hell breaks loose. But it is really Lovecraftian, really weird, and really, really fun. But that nighttime stresses me the F out, man. It's good times.
Great pick.
We talked about that one before, and it was only on PlayStation. And now I see that it's coming on Xbox soon, and it might be Game Pass. So I'm excited to get my hands on that one because you talked it up pretty well.
It's a banger.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it on Xbox. I do think it is going to be Game Pass soon, I think.
So my second one, and I think this might have a little bit to do with when it came out, but Animal Crossing New Horizons really stresses me out. For one, you start out in debt, and that's just not fun for me to start out in debt. And to start out in debt during a pandemic, that really didn't help things at all. I didn't like the time gating stressed me out, because then I was like, oh, now I have to like schedule my game time to know that I have to go in there and like start it and boot it up to get whatever I need to do to move on. Trying to make sure that the people like you, I think that was a big part of it. That stressed me out. Like all this life stuff I don't need in my game, or at least not a game about furry woodland creatures building houses and owing mortgage payments. Like all that stuff gave me way too much anxiety, and I put that one down pretty fast. But it is a seemingly chill game that all of a sudden very stressful for me.
Great pick.
Great pick. My second pick is Factorio. Now, this is a very beloved game on PC that the whole purpose of the game is for you to create these intricate systems using conveyor belts and these grabbies, and you're supposed to just automate everything while you have these drills going and like mining ore and coal and stone. Very chill, and until you start having these like creature bugs like attacking your base while you're trying to like create like how to build a car, and like there's all this stuff going on, and there's just like so much motion. And even though I am totally addicted to that game right now, it is so much fun, but it definitely it messes with your anxieties. There's just so many little bits, and sometimes like you'll be attacked and your little automation isn't working, and you're like, I don't understand. A whole lot that goes into it. So I think those little finer detail games really get me worked up.
Some high school friends of mine really love that game, and I think they're friends of the pod as well. So good shout out of Factorio.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
For sure. Well, my last pick is Katamari Damacy, because that is a game that starts out very colorful and beautiful, and they're singing la 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 la, like doing the whole thing. Everyone's happy, joy, joy. You get in the world, you're pushing your ball through things, you're starting to like pick them up. But then towards the end of every single level, you start getting this alarm that's like, ring, 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 and it's like stressing you out, and you're like, I noticed I was like pushing my thumb so hard. I was like going to break the thumbstick off, trying to get my ball to go faster so I could just pick up those cats and everything else in the car and the people. And I had to put it down, and my thumb was sore for like the whole rest of the day because I was trying so hard to roll that stupid ball around while the alarm's sounding just so I could pass the damn level. But I'll be damned if it wasn't fun.
I mean, Katamari's so good. So good choice.
Too stressful for me.
I know, right? That's too hardcore for me, for sure. Well, that pretty much wraps everything we have for this week. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast, please tell like 47 friends. And on behalf of Matthew Moulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thank you for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.